using a calculator, solve the equation 1 plus I z square minus 4 plus 3 I z plus 5 plus I equals to 0. Give your answers in the form of x plus iy, where x and y are real. Okay, x and y are real. Okay, so this is another exam question that we're going to attempt. Okay, the moment the question is in form of quadratic, okay, z square and then z and then 5 plus I. Okay, so that's the C part of the general form of quadratic equation. So if it's in form of quadratic equation, and if you want to find what are the roots for this, okay, then we have to use the negative b, okay, the formula, okay, x equals to negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, this is how we find the root. Okay, this is for the where you cannot solve by completing the square or finding even difference between two squares, or even by factorizing. Then we use this formula. Okay, something that we have done in math. So I'm going to use the same approach, okay, to find the answer. So before that, let's split it. What is a equals to 1 plus I. What is b equals to negative 4 plus 3I. And then c equals to 5 plus I. Okay, if we don't make any careless mistake, if we plug in all the values as it is, then we should get the correct answer. Okay, let's give a try. So first of all, it's negative b. So negative, what is b? B is negative 4 plus 3I. Okay, and then we have plus minus, okay, b square, which is again negative, and then 4 plus 3I. Okay, and then we square that. Minus 4, a is 1 plus I, and then multiply by c, which is 5 plus I. Okay, and then the whole thing we gotta divide this by 2a. And what is a? A is 1 plus I. Okay, now let's expand the bracket and give a try. So this is negative and that's negative, so it becomes positive. So what's left is 4 plus 3I, and then plus minus square root. Okay, so that's negative, so square that becomes positive. So what do we have here? So we have square that, we have 16, and then plus 12I plus 12I, which is 24I, and then plus 9I square. Okay, and then what we have on the next part of it. Okay, so we have negative 4. Okay, I'll do that separately. So negative 4, 1 plus 5, which is 5, sorry, 1 times 5, which is 5, and then plus I plus 5I, so that is plus 6I, and then I square. If I expand this, multiply with minus 4, so you have negative 20, negative 24I, negative 4I square, and you know that I square equals to negative 1. So if I sub I square with negative 1, so I get positive 4. Okay, so that's positive 4. So that leaves us with negative 20 plus 4 is minus 16, and then negative 24I. Okay, so negative 20 plus 4 is minus 16 minus 24I. So I'll plug that value inside. So negative 16. Okay, this is negative 16 minus 24I. If you do that separately over here, it's easier. All you have to do is just plug in the value, and it gives us a simple value. So I'll just leave it as 1 plus I. I'm not going to expand that. Okay, now what's next? Okay, let's solve what's inside the bracket. So I have 4 plus 3I plus minus. So that's 16, 16 and 16 is gone. So these two 16s are gone. So 24 and 24, that's gone. And what's left is 9I, again 9I square. So I square is minus 1. So that will give me negative 9. So square root of negative 9 over 2 1 plus I. Okay, this is what I have here. Okay, so simplified further, we have 4 plus 3I and then plus, so this is square root of negative 9. So square root of negative 9, I can split that equals to square root of negative 1 times by square root of 9. So this will give me I, and this is positive and negative 3. So we have positive and negative already. So this is already, okay, that's 3. So put that together. So we have two solutions, 4 plus 3I plus 3I over 2, 1 plus I, or we have the other solution, which is 4 plus 3I minus 3I over 2 bracket 1 plus I. Okay, so these are the two solutions that we have. So I'm going to continue. What shall I continue? I think I'll continue over here for the first one. Okay, this one. Okay, so 4 plus 3I plus 3I will give me 4 plus 6I, and that's 2, 1 plus I. So simplify further, you take out the common factor, which is 2. So 2 plus 3I, and this is over 2, 1 plus I. Okay, so simplify that, we have 2 plus 3I over 1 plus I, and I'm going to rationalize by multiplying the conjugate of 1 plus I, which is 1 minus I, and then you times it by 1 minus I. So when I multiply that, what's left, what's the outcome that we have here is 1 at the bottom. We'll have just 1 and then I square, so minus I square. So on top we have 2 and then minus 2I plus 3I minus 2I plus 3I, which is just I, positive I. Okay, so positive I and minus 3I square. So simplify further. Okay, you have 2 plus I, and then I square is negative 1, sub that will be positive 3 over 1 minus I square, which is negative 1. Negative 1 times by negative, which is positive 1. So therefore your answer is 5 plus I over 2. So split this into x plus iy. You have 5 over 2 plus I over 2 as your answer. Okay, now we have to find the other root. Okay, what is the other root? Okay, let's look at that. Okay, the other root will be 4 plus, again the same thing. Okay, I'm going to write it over this side, 4 plus 3I minus 3I. So find the other root. So the other root will be, so this is 4 plus 3I minus 3I, so that's gone. So what's left here is 4 over 2 and then 1 plus I. Okay, so if I simplify this further, I have 2 over 1 plus I. Now rationalize it, okay, because again the question requires us to give the answer in x plus iy, so I need to rationalize this by multiplying with the conjugate of 1 plus I, which is 1 minus I. Okay, 1 minus I, let's multiply that. Okay, so what do you have here? So on top, the numerator, you have 2 minus 2I, whereas the denominator you have 1, and that's minus I square, and we know I square is negative 1, so I can plug that value inside. So you have 2 minus 2I over 1 times by negative 1, so which is plus 1. So that will give me 2 bracket 1 minus I over 2. Now simplify this. Okay, by cancelling these two, and what's left is 1 minus I. Okay, so we have two roots. What are those two roots? Okay, these are the two roots. One is 1 minus I, and the other one is 5 over 2 plus I over 2, or 1 over 2. Okay, so let's look at the question again. Okay, give your answers in form of x plus iy, where x and y are real, and that's it. Next part of it is the complex number u is given by u equals 2, negative 1 minus I. Okay, on a sketch of an argon diagram, show the points representing u, shade the region whose points represents the complex number satisfying the inequalities modulus z less than modulus z minus 2I, and then you have half pi less than eigenvalue z minus u less than half pi. Okay, so first of all, if you have a question like this, okay, try to understand what are these. Okay, what are they talking about? Okay, you have modulus that there, so if I split that, I will have um, z minus, in form of, if I split it in form of z minus zi, let's say, so I have z minus, there's no other value behind it, it's not z minus 2 plus I or anything like that, so meaning it's at origin. So if it's at origin, what you can do, I can still write in form of z minus zi, so I can write it as z minus 0 plus 0, sorry, 0I. Okay, just for understanding, you don't have to if you know what is z, and then less than z minus 2I. And what is z minus 2I? So if I write it in form of z minus z1, so it is z minus 0 plus 2I. Okay, 0 plus 2I. So what are those two coordinates? Okay, those two coordinates are 0, 0, which is at the origin, and then this one will be 0, 2I. Okay, 0 and 2. Okay, so this is at the origin and this is at the imaginary axis. Okay, so 0, 2, it's on the imaginary axis. So they are talking about 2 points, and one of the point or the region is less than the other region. So what are they talking about? They're talking about the bisector. Okay, they're talking about the bisector. So there's a locus that is, dividing them, okay, into 2 parts. So the region that you have to shade is, this is the region that you have to shade, meaning where is the region that is less than um, the second region, or z minus 0 plus 2I. So you have a line that's dividing these two. What is that line? So once I've drawn, I'll understand. And then the region that you have to shade is z minus the first one. Okay, so that's the region, so which is less than. So that's where we have to shade. Okay, now let's look at the next one. So the moment you have half pi and then argon or half pi, this is, they are talking about an angle. Okay, argon, which is an angle. So if it's argon z minus an angle, then they're talking about half line. Okay, they're talking about half line. So we have to draw the half line, and where's the coordinate? Okay, we have to find the coordinate. The coordinate here is, okay, u negative 1 minus um, negative 1 minus I. So I can split this, okay, into z minus bracket, and remember minus u, so it should be negative 1 minus I. Okay, negative 1 minus I. And where is the coordinate for this? Okay, the coordinate for this will be negative 1 and negative 1. Okay, negative 1, negative 1. Okay, so whenever you have a question like this, please recognize, understand what are they talking about. Once you've understood, deduced your information, then it's easy for you to sketch. Okay, so I'll sketch here. Okay, so we have, okay, what are the points? Okay, first we have negative 1, and this is negative I, and then negative 2I, positive I, and positive 2I. So that's I am imaginary axis, and this is your real axis. If you want, you can even write an I just for your understanding. Okay, so -2, this is +2, +2, sorry, +1 and +2 and +2. You don't have to write a lot, but I tend to have few questions, few lines, so that I make sure that my answers are correct. Okay, now the first one. Okay, Argand diagram. Z is less than 2 minus 2i. So let's draw that first. So you have Z, which is here, and then you have another line which is 0, 1, so which is over here. So you have this line here, a locus, and between them is what the region is, okay, where the region lies. So between them basically is the line that separates these two lines, okay, separates these two lines. So I'm going to use, okay, draw those two lines, which is over here. Okay, so that's the line that they are talking about. Okay, that's the line that they are talking about. So this is um, your I, okay, the line I. So that's the horizontal line, and the region that it covers. Where is the region that it covers? Okay, less than, okay, between these two, okay, less than 0. Okay, so it's going towards the origin, so it should be this region that we have to shade. Okay, that's the region, everything, not just here, everything under here. Okay, that's the region that is going. Okay, so I'm not done because I still have one more part to draw. So the second part, which is -1, -1. So let's look at that. Okay, -1, so which is this point here, and this is, for this, the argon angle is in between what's that, quarter pi and half pi. So quarter pi and half pi. So half pi is a right angle. Okay, half pi is a right angle. So from there we draw a dotted line. Okay, okay, that's half pi, and then quarter. So quarter. So if I draw, so this is a right angle. So quarter should be somewhere this way. Okay, so if you look at it, that's 1, and that's 1. Okay, and that's 1. So it is a square. Okay, all the length are same. So I should draw a line that goes through the origin. It has to go through the origin. Okay, it has to go through the origin. Okay, so from here, okay, from here, okay, I'll enlarge this so that you guys can see. Okay, from here, the region that the question covers, okay, the region that locus covers is, this is the region, the yellow region. That's the region that we are talking about, including this part here. That's the region. Okay, so your marking scheme states that you have to show your line. Okay, make sure you have your I. So this is that z equals to, or I, z equals to I. Okay, this. Okay, so now that we have shaded, okay, so let's label some information. So this blue line is I, so we have that line, okay, clearly indicated, and the angle here is pi over 4, remember. Okay, you have to write that down, and this is pi over 2. Okay, so that is your complete diagram for the second question.